Greetings, guys. We are back in the office. It is Mike Watts coming to you from, I feel like every time I shoot a video out here, it either starts to rain, or it has been raining, or it's about to rain. And it did rain earlier, and so it's a little wet out here, so this is fun. I wanted to talk about something that's been in the news lately regarding Hillary Clinton and Uber, and all of that stuff she's talking about having employees or contractors or anything like that. So kind of what they're talking about is the sharing economy and what it is and how that actually works. So we have a couple of companies. And I know there's a lot more than just Uber, Lyft. I think Lyft is spelt that way. Airbnb. There's a lot of more of these companies that are coming out, but these are the big ones that are in the news all the time. There's something to understand about these companies because they deal with lawsuits. They're dealing with the government. They're lawyers, they're teams. Like, a lot of money is spent on these companies, especially Uber and especially Airbnb. I don't know, I think Lyft might be dealing with it a little bit. Lyft is, what Uber and Lyft is, if you don't know, it's a share riding app. So basically I go on my app and I type in, right now I could be staying in my house, I type Uber from right here, never have to leave the house, I don't have to pick up the phone, I'd be like, pick me up right here. A Uber car that's in the Portland, Maine area will come and pick me up and then take me wherever I need to go. So instead of calling a taxi cab or waiting for a taxi cab or scheduling a ride for a taxi cab, it's immediate and I don't have to wait downstairs or I don't have to go find a taxi cab, it'll come to me. Airbnb, and same thing with these two car companies. I haven't used Lyft, but I've heard a lot about it. And then Airbnb is, so right now if we go away for 2 weeks, we could put our house in Airbnb and rent it out. So it's very similar to vacation rentals or stuff like that. And you can do 1-day rentals, 3-day rentals, 4-day rentals, and have pictures. So we can let individuals who sign up for Airbnb, and there's reviews and stuff like that, that will come and stay at our house. And then we can make money while we're gone on our home. Basically, we can make money on our home while we're gone, which is pretty cool. So we could treat our house like a hotel. So what's interesting about these and why there's so much resistance around it, it's so much resistance because it is changing old school rules. Like, we're talking decades and decades of rules. You think the taxi unions, the taxi industry, all the government, like the government regulations that are around taxis, and then the same with the hotel industry. I mean, we just stayed at a hotel. You stay at any hotel, like going to New York or going to Boston, you're charged tourism tax, basically, rental tax, like occupancy tax, like then you charge all these fees. So by the time my hotel bill could be $100 for the room, but then by the time I walk out it could be 140 bucks, right? So with Airbnb you eliminate all this stuff because you pay $100 for the night, $100 for the night. Now there's taxes and sales tax and stuff like that that could be different in each situation. But then Uber, what happens is I put it on my credit card, it's registered with the company, I basically hit, I don't have to leave a tip, I don't have to deal with any of that stuff, and I walk out. But why these companies are successful and why you should keep, if this is an idea that you have, is don't stop with this idea and you keep coming forward with it and keep coming forward with it, because it is changing old school, like not renaissance, but it's just changing rules and regulations. And why there's so much lawsuits with Uber and Airbnb and all this stuff is because it is changing the old regulations. They've been, these good old boys have been sitting pretty for a really long time and collecting paychecks for a really long time from these companies, and it's been easy. The government, it's been easy. And now some new guy comes in, Uber or Airbnb, and messes things up. It throws everything up and uprises, and we're gonna sue them, or we're not gonna allow them. But you know what? The people want it. Because if you ever ride in taxi cabs in New York City, or you ever ride in taxi cabs for that matter in Portland, Maine, like, the drivers are horrific. They don't want to be in a taxi cab. They don't want to be there. They're grumpy. They're just like, the cab smells. It could be puke or smoke or whatever the driver's doing. I've seen a taxi cab in New York City drop us off. I walk by his car and he's peeing in a bottle, right? And so it's just like craziness that happens after we left his car. He had to pee. Instead of going to a store someplace, he pees in a bottle, right? In New York City, like, there's no respect. And why these companies are on the rise, and will they continue to be on the rise, and then I'm going to address Hillary Clinton's concern about contractors versus employees, but why they're going to continue to be on the rise, because this is empowering individuals. And see, these regulations don't want to empower individuals, they want to empower big companies. And what's happening with Uber and Airbnb and Lyft, it's empowering the business owner. It's me as the homeowner or the renter of this facility, I am empowered to choose what I want to do. If I want to put random people people in my house on the weekend, they can come over and rent it out and I can make a bunch of money or whatever. So what? Like, why is that your problem? Why is that the individual hotel's problem? Why is that a problem, right? It's messing with the insurance companies. It's messing with all of these old hotel rules, these inns, all of this old rules that these people have to apply for, and they have to get these government, right? But I can, if I make over $600 as an independent contractor, I have to claim that on my taxes, and I have to go and pay taxes on that income. So it's not like I'm avoiding taxes. It's not like I'm trying to get out of paying taxes, because Airbnb will track the amount of money. Uber will track the amount of money I make, because then they will submit that to the government and I'll end up paying taxes on it as an independent contractor. But why, as I said, why this empowers having a person, having my car that's down there, and if I want to drive people around and take them somewhere, that's empowering for me. Like me getting in an Uber car, the amount of conversations I've had with individuals, the amount of people that are happy to be doing it. Why? Because they're happy to be doing it. They're not treating it like a job. I talk about this concept of business mindset versus employee mindset and how they're two completely different things. A business owner is passionate about it. An employee could care less. They're getting a paycheck. It's the same with the taxi industry versus Uber. Uber, that's their car. They're going to take care of their car. They're going to treat that people. But most of the time they're nice. I've only had one bad Uber experience, and that guy just didn't know what the heck he was doing. And it was a bad experience, not because the person was bad, because we got lost. It's empowering individuals to ownership, right? I own my house, I want to rent it out. I'm going to leave it nice for people, and then individuals that are staying there for the majority of the time. Of course, there's a small percentage of people that will stay in somebody's home and mess it up. They'll get hurt or they'll trash it or stuff like that. Small percentage of people. Small percentage of people will throw up in your car because they're too drunk and all that stuff. But for the majority of people that are using these type of apps will respect using my house, will respect using my car, for instance, right, for that example. This is why it's empowering. Why is this a problem with the government? And why is Hillary Clinton all up in arms about everyone needs to be an employee? Maybe not everybody wants to be an employee. Maybe I want to rent my house out at Airbnb and be a contractor for Uber. And the majority of times with Uber contracting, and even I've talked to taxi cab companies. We were in Las Vegas and Uber, the taxi cab union shut it down, not allowing Uber to come in. And I asked the taxi cab, I'm like, do you care if Uber's here? He's like, no, the drivers don't care. It's the management and the owners of these individuals, because they're stepping on their ground. They're coming in, they're invading it, and it's okay. When your service sucks for so long, there is going to be somebody that is going to replace you and become better. And when that happens, you that's been in the same ball game for a really long time, that's just drinking back beers and playing golf with the government and the mayors and the senators and all that junk, and like playing in the good old boy land, when that happens and you get stepped on by like Uber and Airbnb, you're gonna be upset. Because you've been running a crappy business. You've been running a business where nobody cares about what they're doing and the situation. But when Uber and Airbnb come in and they start replacing that, then it's gonna start this uprising that's happening, right? And governments are getting involved and lawyers are getting involved. And I hope Uber never stops, because they're actually, like, the entire France taxi system shut down when my buddy was over in France because Uber came in and they were protesting. But you know what? Like, it is amazing that because they are coming in, and in this sharing economy of where we are today, like sharing your car, sharing your house, this type of stuff, this is what's empowering individuals, as I said. And what Hillary Clinton's talking about making everyone a part-time employee, here's the issue with having employees. There's nothing wrong with it, but employees are expensive. And if individuals want to work as a contractor, I have my own business. I pay my own health care. I fund my own retirement. I have to be in charge of my own retirement. I am in charge of my own health. I pay so much expenses out of pocket for my health before my health care covers it, for $510 a month, $511 a month out of my pocket, right? This is my own health care. This is the direction we're moving, and people are freaking out. The reason to keep people as contractors, they'll make more money. The companies will allow more profit to happen because they don't have to pay health care. We had employees at Philip Morris made $30 an hour. When their health care and all the benefits and all that stuff was added on top of it, they were making $85 an hour. $85 an hour, right? That is a big difference between $30 an hour. And that's why employees are expensive. So it's not necessarily they're avoiding the cost of that. We're already moving that direction. Once pension plans eliminated and 401ks are the new way to be able to do it, people had control over it. Well, they have a limited amount of control based off the company they work with about what you can invest your money into. But myself, I can invest my money into anything I want. I have total control over my retirement accounts. I have total control over my healthcare system. I have total control over where I want to get healthcare from. I can go to all these brokers that offer all these different packages and research all of these different companies. You can't, as an individual and as a contractor, you're allowed to do that. That is empowering. And as an employee, you're not. You're limited on what you can invest in, and what happens. You get fired or laid off, all that stuff's gone. Retirement's gone, healthcare's gone. Then what happens? Then you have to go find it, right? And so by these individuals remaining contractors, yes, of course, I don't know all the lawyers and all the documents. This is all like headlines that I'm repeating, but I understand it from a business perspective and a business owner perspective. And I've talked to enough Uber drivers on their situation where they actually like it. Because sometimes as an employee, you have more responsibility to that organization or toward that company, but as a contractor, you can do whatever you want. And as long as you respect the rules of that company, they will allow you to run your business how you want. Because as a contractor, you're independent. You're able to run it the way you want. As an employee, you're limited and have to follow it from that standpoint. So I know Hillary Clinton's on this bandwagon right now of a part-time employee and all that stuff, and whatever the companies decide to do is great. But there is a good thing happening right now, and it'll continue to break the tradition. It's going to continue to break through walls. And everyone that's watching this video, you might be inventing something that's going to break through this. And that's the same industry I'm in the network marketing industry, MLM industry, all of that stuff. Like, we're all independent contractors for organizations. We are able to run the business the way we want to run it. And we are compensated for the work that we do from our company, which is pretty freaking cool, because we are doing it all ourselves. And people think it's like a scam or all this stuff. Like, there's scams in every industry. Hello, Bernie Madoff, for all you financiers. But there is bad companies, there's bad owners, there's bad individuals. But in this organization, it has been the sharing economy for a really long time in the industry that I've been a part of. And that's where all these big conglomerate companies, the taxi cab lobbies and the industry, and we're all moving that way. Just a matter of time. You either get on board or you're gonna be left in the dust. So question of the day is, what do you think about this sharing economy we're moving into? Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? I wanna know your take. Like, have you used Uber? Do you like it? Have you used Airbnb? Have you used Lyft? Like those different types of companies? What is another one? I'm sure there's a lot of other companies that are out there that are doing the same thing. But do you like it? Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? Let me know in the comments below. I'm very curious to hear your thoughts. We'll see you guys tomorrow on WattsTV.